Morocco 0, Portugal 2. I mean, trust me lads, if Morocco actually reach the semi-finals, which they won't, then I will do an entire video covered head to toe in nothing but ketchup.
Hello, I'm the Irish guy, and yeah. You're about to witness the greatest World Cup semi-final predictions ever! And yeah, don't worry, I'll explain the ketchup. I'm not good at predicting things. But lads, just you watch. This semi-final prediction is going to be insanely correct. And also, I'm gonna react to the quarter-final games too. Alright, let's go. Argentina versus Croatia. Alright, okay. So what did I say about the Argentina versus Holland quarter-final then?
I promise you, this is gonna be one of the dullest ever World Cup games of all time. Strap yourselves in. This is gonna be an ugly, ugly watch. So yeah, 0-0 draw, with Argentina winning on penalties after, I don't know, penalty misses from Daley Blind and Martin de Vroon. Just you watch.
Okay, what was that? I did say Argentina would win on penalties, but I said this match would be about as entertaining as watching constipated pigs fornicate in a trough. But instead, of course, this match had to be game of the tournament. And right now, we have just birthed one of the ugliest, newest rivalries in sports. And I love it! Argentina and Holland are enemies now, I guess. I mean, for Christ's sake, for 70 minutes, this was a Messi masterclass. Argentina are 2-0 up and coasting, and then Louis van Gaal chucks on a Burnley flop. And he scores twice, and becomes arguably the biggest villain in South America. Lads, thank Christ this was a World Cup match, because if this was just a Sunday League game, oh, there'd be fights in the car park. You'd have had fully-fledged deadness from Cork chucking bricks at the opposition's vans. I mean, you'd have emotional grandmas throwing their carrot soup at the ref. Lads, according to Sergio Aguero, Wout Weghorst started to taunt Messi when he was on his way back to the dressing room after the match. I'm sorry, how? How can you taunt the winning team?
I said, why are you talking to Messi like that? You then said to me, don't tell me to shut up.
So apparently Weghorst doesn't like being told to shut up. Because it's rude, right? Yeah, I mean, imagine telling that to a fellow pro on the pitch, right?
Wout Weghorst tells Conor Roberts to shut up when Burnley teammate questions him about goals after Wales are beaten by Netherlands.
Yeah, I don't understand how this hypocrite Weghorst can act like a big tough guy, you know, the Dutch Vinnie Jones, when his middle name is Maria. I mean, relax, Wout. Lads, we know Weghorst has a mouth. Christ above, he is just an international football troll, to the extent where he should probably go and live under a bridge. He is just this sport's answer to Dylan Dennis. But lads, I will say this. Why is it always the Dutch? I sound like that disappointed school teacher who keeps asking where the class bully has been caught repeatedly flushing nerds down the loo. But lads, I mean, there were 15 yellow cards in this bruising match, right? Well, Holland also took part in the ugliest World Cup match of all time back in 2006 against Portugal. 16 yellow cards in that match and 4 reds, a FIFA World Cup record. It seems like when the Dutch have to take on either Ronaldo or Messi, they just turn into a modern day Stoke. I mean, it's quite fitting that earlier this year their goal scorer was signed by Sean Dyche. Honestly, this guy failed at being a replacement for Chris Wood, and yet he still scores twice against Argentina at the World Cup. I mean, lads, Holland are a country who played the biggest match of their lives, a World Cup final in 2010, and this was an actual tactic. Yeah, less than 6 months later, Nigel de Jong was breaking Hannah Ben Arfa's leg. I mean, come on, but why? Why are Holland like this? But yeah, who are Argentina playing? Croatia, who are somehow in a semi-final? Alright, okay, what did I say about the quarter-final match with Brazil then?
Croatia versus Brazil. I can tell you definitely that for a fact that Alisson Becker is not conceding a goal to Croatia. No, that is a guaranteed clean sheet. And again, I mean, if Brazil do concede a goal, then I will rub cat food on my face. Yeah, I never learned.
Oh, thanks, Croatia. Oh, God. Oh, this is gonna be worse than the ketchup. Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, I hate this World Cup!
Honestly, it'll be a frustrating hour for the Brazilians, but I reckon a super sub like Anthony will break the deadlock before Neymar scruffs in a late penalty. Croatia 0, Brazil 2.
I said Neymar would score a penalty, and so typically, the main story coming out of this match was about Neymar not scoring a penalty, or even taking a penalty, because clearly his ego is bigger than Mickey Mouse's head, wanting to just wait for that glory 5th penalty. I mean, this is what Cristiano Ronaldo did against Spain at Euro 2012. He even let 2 centre-halves go ahead of him, and yeah, he never got to take one in the end. Honestly, when your country needs Marquinhos, he scored a penalty to keep you in the tournament. But I'm sorry, surely you wanted to instead give it to the guy who was about to overtake Pele as Brazil's record goal scorer? Honestly, this is just a dereliction of duty. I mean, it's like a seasoned fireman. He turns up at a burning house, and instead, he just lets the work experience kids and the neighbor's grandma go in to tackle the flames first. I'm gonna say something very strange right now. I'm not huge into conspiracy theories, but for this, lad, I'm sticking on my tinfoil hat, and yeah, to further demonstrate my loony bin status, maybe I should start brushing my teeth with a dead mouse whilst chucking mashed potato at old ladies on their way to church. But FIFA don't want Croatia in the final. Or Morocco. I mean, I'm sorry, but do the Qataris want their World Cup to be bookmarked by two hideously dull games? I mean, to begin the tournament with Qatar versus Ecuador, and then for the final match to be Morocco versus Croatia? I mean, we already had Morocco versus Croatia 2 weeks ago, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. You were all tucking into your bowl of undercooked Weetabix. It was a game so mind-numbingly boring that any of you unfortunate enough to tune into this match probably just bit the bullet and switched over to Shrek midway through the second half. Nobody at FIFA wants this to be the final match of the tournament. The lasting memory. No, honestly, nobody wants to see this one again. I mean, it'd be like Hollywood choosing to do a reboot of the god-awful 50 Shades of Grey. This time starring Sharon Osbourne and Jonah Hill. Nobody wants to see that film, and because of that, both Argentina and France have home advantage. I'm sorry, I realize I sound like a conspiracy theorist loon. I mean, how could there possibly be home advantage at a neutral tournament, right? And especially in the middle of a desert? How can I possibly pretend that France are on home soil when their fans have a camel doing a poo outside the bedroom window? Lads, I think that when a team's name is first on the scoreboard, and when the opposition are forced to wear the away shirts, it is a psychological advantage of these tournaments. I mean, I know I sound nuts, but if Portugal were allowed to wear their home kit against Morocco, they would have blown them away, just like they did when they scored 6 against the Swiss. But when you're stuck in the mindset of,
oh, officially we're the away team,
then you will subconsciously set yourself up to be more defensive, and instead of controlling the game, just try to hit the opponents on the break. Am I the only one who believes this? Lads, isn't it a coincidence that of the 12 knockout matches so far, the one with home advantage went through in 9 of those games? Lads, France were the only away team to actually win the match without a penalty shootout. See, I'm not totally insane, but please don't ring the police or tell them that you spotted a weird Irish man shoving bananas up his nose. Even in 2018, there were 16 knockout matches, right? Yeah. There were 3 away wins inside the 90 minutes. 3! From 16 games. Those were France beating Uruguay, Belgium beating Brazil, and England sneaking past Sweden. Am I talking wet nonsense here, or am I onto something? I honestly believe if it was written as Portugal versus Morocco, then it would have been a 3-0 Portugal win. And if it was written as Brazil versus Croatia, comfy 2-0 Brazilian win. Instead of them being trapped in that subconscious mindset, where they are just trying to nick a winner in extra time, as if they were away from home. And so here, Argentina versus Croatia. FIFA want Messi and Mbappe in the final. But, when do we ever get the glamour World Cup final? Every time these World Cup semi-finalists are paired, there seems like an obvious big team final, right? I mean, after the quarterfinals finished in 2018, everyone was fantasizing over a final between England and France. I mean, back in 2014, people were drooling over a potential Argentina versus Brazil final in Rio de Janeiro. Now, instead, Brazil just chose to concede 7 in the semi-final. I mean, in 2006, people wanted France versus Germany in Berlin. Even in 2010, I think when you look at the semi-finals, the dream final was probably Germany versus Holland. But it never worked out like that. Right, so when Croatia managed to scuttle into the World Cup final 4 years ago, I'm guessing the FIFA president must have felt a sickly taste of undercooked turkey in his lungs. Argentina versus France, it almost seems too easy. And don't forget that at the last World Cup, largely this exact same Croatia team easily beat Argentina by 3-0. So Croatia have a massive chance. But how likely is it that France versus Croatia is going to be a World Cup final in back-to-back tournaments? No, it was insane enough to happen once. I mean, imagine go back to Euro 2004 when France and Croatia played out a 2-2 draw in England's group. Imagine saying that one day this would be a World Cup final twice. No. It was insane enough to happen once, thanks. Honestly, Croatia are a plucky team, but seeing them in the final 4 years ago was a bit like seeing my great aunt Margaret starring in an X-Men film. I mean, you just look a bit out of place. So for France versus Croatia in a World Cup final, again, I refuse to believe this can happen. Just no, because not only do we never get the obvious final, but I mean, we never get a repeat of one either. But it never happens in the Champions League. I mean, we came very close to having Man United versus Chelsea in both 2008 and 2009, but it didn't happen. And similarly, Barcelona versus Man United should arguably have taken place in 2010 as well as 2011, but it didn't happen either. The same two teams never play out consecutive finals ever. So France versus Croatia, I refuse to believe that's going to happen. Again, no! It'd be like kicking 2 tennis balls into the sun. It'd be like 2 pigs from the same farm both crash landing on the moon. Argentina are winning this match. It won't be easy, but they are a perfect example of a team that's getting stronger in the tournament. From losing to Saudi Arabia to clawing themselves into the final, It's happening. But I should have noticed this before the Brazil match. But I mean, this one is obviously going to extra time. It's just what Croatia do. Croatia have gone to extra time in 8 out of the last 9 knockout matches. I mean, that goes all the way back to Euro 2008 when they somehow took the lead over Turkey in the 119th minute and they still lost. But as during Luka Modric's entire international career, Croatia have been the draw specialists. Croatia are on the verge of back-to-back World Cup finals, and yet they haven't won a knockout match inside 90 minutes since beating Germany in 1998! 0 knockout wins in nearly 30 years, and yet 2 potential World Cup finals. What is this? This will be a battle between Messi and Kovacic. I reckon it'll be 1-1 after 90 minutes, but Croatia don't always scuttle away to penalties. They often do get the hearts broken in extra time too, like when Portugal's Ricardo Quaresma broke the deadlock at Euro 2016 in the 117th minute, or when Spain scored twice against them in extra time last summer. So here, yeah, go on then, 2 minutes away from penalties, but no, Lautaro Martinez will bundle in a 120th minute winner. Absolute scenes. Argentina in the final. France versus Morocco. Right, what did I say about Morocco versus Portugal then?
Morocco versus Portugal. This will be pretty comfy. They'll snatch an early goal, which will throw Morocco's game plan in a bin, and yeah, Morocco will have to be a bit more ambitious and commit more men forwards, and it will allow someone like Rafa Leao to kill off a game in the last 10 minutes. A comfy Portugal win. Morocco 0, Portugal 2. I mean, trust me lads, if Morocco actually reaches the semi-finals, which they won't, then I will do an entire video covered head to toe in nothing but ketchup.
Does the ketchup make sense now? I'm sorry, but how? How did this happen? Morocco are in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Again, their coach is someone called Walid Regragui. I mean, we might as well get to know him because this former Toulouse right back is clearly going to get a top European job after this. I mean, look at his CV. I mean, sure, he's a Champions League winning coach, but it's the African Champions League? Which is insane. It makes no sense. There is not a single footballer out there who can claim to have scored against Morocco at the World Cup because the only goal they conceded was to Canada, and that was a Neaf Aguero goal. This is like the absolute Greek steal at Euro 2004 when they, despite having a team pieced together by unwanted rubbish, didn't concede a knockout goal the entire thing. But listen, France versus Morocco, France have the home advantage. I'm sorry, but yes, it is a thing. But Morocco do remind me of Greece at Euro 2004. Nobody can score against them. And Greece did not have that psychological boost of home advantage, and they still beat France away from home. 1-0 win with a big block of a centre forward, Angelos Karasteas, scoring the winning goal. Even though he was off the back of a miserable season where he'd scored 4 goals in the Bundesliga. And similarly, big man Youssef El-Nesri is having a stinker for Sevilla. 0 goals in 10. But I've already said Croatia are making the final, but we're also not getting that dream Argentina-France final either. So yeah, France 0, Morocco 1, with El-Nesri with the second half header. I'm sorry, but we are not getting that Argentina versus France glamour tie. If that actually happens, I'll eat pudding off the underside of my shoe after I've just jumped in a puddle of snow. I think we're about to see the greatest ever World Cup shock. An overconfident France team will assume they'll just breeze past Morocco, but they won't. They'll get frustrated, they'll lose their cool, they won't be able to break them down. Daya Upamecano will have another howler at centre back, and El-Nesri will scuffle in a goal. 1-0. Achraf Hakimi will keep his PSG teammate Kylian Mbappe wedged in a comfy little pocket alongside a couple of chewing gum and a half-eaten Kit Kat. Just you watch. This is going to happen. Now let me get this ketchup off my face. And that's the end of the video. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think is going to be the final? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk shit a while.